We're going to get on now. Leaders in America, Islamic leaders or Muslim leaders. Noble Drew Ali, and we'd just like for each of you to just, briefly talk about them, give us some information about them, and we'll start with Noble Drew Ali.
Noble Drew Ali was taught by Dos Ali, and Dos Ali was under the Mahdi of Sudan's teaching, and that's when it began to come over here. Noble Drew Ali studied many different philosophies. He was born on the Cherokee Reservation. The thing that he was presenting was nationism under the term Moor. He studied Buddhism, a lot of Egyptian doctrine, and that's when he said he found himself. He put together the Circle 7, which was a copy from the Aquarian Gospel written by Levi Dowling. You see what I'm saying? So
and he was also trying to enlighten the Nubians over here that they were the original people over here, the Native Americans to this land.
Okay. Right.
And what was this? I'm sorry. What time period was this?
This is around the early 1900s or 1929. I know in Chicago they had the Moore Science Temple, and that was the word that he was introducing, that you're not Negroes, you're not African Americans, you are Moors, and you are over here. And that tied into certain treaties that were written back in the 1700s, one by Sidi Muhammad, that was signed, if I'm not mistaken, by George Washington, that the Moors were supposed to be treated like Caucasians. You say, and they weren't under constitutional law and Jim Crow law. That's what Noble Drew Ali was bringing.
And also the fact that the Constitution was originally ours.
That's right.
So now with this term, Moore, how did they, kind of like erase that after Deuce Ali or Noble Drew Ali brought it to America? How did they, because I never was taught, I'm from here, born and raised here, and I never was taught about, not even Elijah Muhammad in our school curriculum, you see? So I want to know, how did they alleviate that?
Well, it's easy because we're taught not to do our research and study. We just accept, and when they want to just eliminate something, then they just simply remove it, and we don't question it. And they distort the meaning of things, simply making more meaning black. At one time, you couldn't call people black.
Right.
They were a Negro. Okay? So it was an insult. So then you didn't want to be associated with anything that was affiliated with black. Not even your own lineage, by way of Moore.
Okay.
The whole thing was just to hide the treaties, hide the information. It was the Moors that were protecting the eastern seaboard during the American Revolution. Okay, John Hanson was a Moor and the president that was that General George Washington was under. What's the brother's name who built?
You're talking about?
Who built the White House?
You're talking about? It's on the tip of my tongue. Benjamin Banneker.
Benjamin Banneker. He was a Moor. He set the foundation for the Freemasonic Lodge. He was a contractor that brought over here.
You cannot have a general without having a president.
That's right. That's right. So this was information that Noble Drew Ali was bringing. And back that far, they didn't fear Elijah Muhammad. It was Noble Drew Ali that was the main concern. You see what I'm saying? So that's pretty much Noble Drew Ali's story.
And you said he had been taught by Deuce Ali.
That's right.
Okay, and just a little bit about Deuce Ali.
And Deuce Ali was a student of Mahdiism. He was a student of the Mahdi, and he studied over, of course, in the mystical schools, ancient Egyptian mysteries, and then came back over here. So you're basically dealing with human beings that were a part of the mission of the Aquarian age of raising the black consciousness of this fallen nation of people who had lost, we lost knowledge of who we were. Exactly.
We really don't have a culture here in America, the Nubians today, that we really cling on to and really hold on to as our own.
Not even Kwanzaa.
That's right.
Not even Kwanzaa?
People do Christmas and then they do Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa, right. Okay, man, that's really sad. So what about Sheikh Daoud? Let's talk about Sheikh Daoud, because all these brothers are interesting to me because I never knew they exist up until 3 years ago.
Sheikh Daoud considered him the true missionary of Islam in America. He was a Moroccan-born Moor also had a lot of respect and admiration for Noble Drew Ali. He also went to the Moor Science Temple and sat there. Okay, he was the one writing some of the most powerful books in the 70s and 80s, or in the early 80s. One was the Crusade, and not to go into this too deeply, but he was the one who knew about the both Farads, the one born in Palestine, and that he went there with, and the fake one, the Farad. You see what I'm saying? Or the imposter. So, and he was the one who wrote the Crusade about the fake Farad, because he knew the plot when Elijah at the time Elijah Muhammad, a noble the Honorable Elijah Muhammad at the time did not understand that particular plot. So Dos Ali was also being funded by Saudi Arabia to bring Islam over here. But
That
remember when
was
he
to
came,
undermine America, to get
That's
us
right.
to convert to this false doctrine and then overthrow the government.
Right. Okay.
so
That's
he
why
was the
they.
establisher of the Islamic mission in America, and he had certain, what do you call them, apprentices underneath him. He was a mentor for certain people, and he passed off certain documents.
Document. Okay. That told the true story.
That's right.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, well, let's get on the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And like you were saying too before about the two Fards, that was something that I also did not know, is that there was an imposter.
Yeah.
And actually a third too. I mean, wasn't it towards the end of his death?
Towards
there
the
was
end
a,
one.
you know, there was an older
Right.
Fard or
Yeah.
something like that.
That was right about it.
And I think the one from Oregon, it was one from Portland, Oregon, that did not actually speak Arabic.
Not at all. And that was the one that taught the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that God came in the persons of a man, he was saying at this particular time,
Right.
Fard Muhammad was the wisest man who he had met.
Right.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? Which made him God in the flesh. Remember that Elijah Muhammad was a third-degree Mason.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's why they wear the bow tie. That's why they don't wear the
Stand on
dial.
the square.
Right, stay on the square. They don't wear the dial of Saudi Arabia. That's the head covering. It's like kind of like a checkerboard. They don't wear that. They wear the fez. You see what I'm saying? And so he was coming from a different level of information. As far as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he also sat in the Moorish Science Temple. And that information, the same stories, Yaqub's stories, sun, moon, and star, and all that, was in the Moorish Science Temple, taught by Noble Ali, and Elijah Muhammad just came up with that information.
Because they had to have a doctrine.
Right. Okay. So all these leaders that have come through and set up the different branches of Islam and or religion, what purpose? I mean, did they serve a purpose for it? Or were they all a
Absolutely.
part of our story? Should
Absolutely.
I say?
Yes.
It was a plot going on, but at the same time, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, they say, only had a third-grade education, raised up to be the wisest man amongst
had
his
a
time.
mighty
He
nation.
built an empire now.
Right.
Don't get nothing wrong. The mission was do for self.
Right.
Exactly.
He didn't use the Moorish doctrine and all that, but as far as nationalism, but the mission was do for self.
And that's
he-
sound right reasoning.
Sound right
for today.
reason. And he, just to clean the people up. So each leader served a certain purpose to get us to where we are at this new millennium, to thinking where we are. They started raising the level of consciousness, new nows.
So has his doctrine and his way of thinking, has that actually been carried on? I mean,
It hasn't been carried on because it went from a mighty nation to what, so many years that has been passed away. Where is it now? We should see evidence of something that was tried, tested, and proven to work, and we don't see that today.
That's right.
Now, with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you know, looking at Farad, it looks like a Caucasian.
Looks like.
Yeah.
Yes.
So my thing was, and he was teaching the brothers that, you know, the pale man was the devil.
Right.
So I'm saying that how could he?
Well, the
could you clear it
explanation-
up for me? How could he say?
explanation
how could he say
from
that
that-
he's the wisest man?
I'm sorry for cutting you off. The explanation for that is this man had to have both natures.
Okay.
He had to appear like the person who enslaved his people, have, in fact, in his genes, in his blood, the nature of that one, so that he could not be fooled. And as he taught us and brought us along, or he could get into places that we could not. That's what was taught.
Okay.
That's the purpose of him.
All right. Okay. Thank you.